Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Jnanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Some vichara shows us two perspectives of the Jagat. Some vichara is required. Of the two perspectives, one is simply Dṛśya. I see, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. I perceive, therefore that is real. And what do I see? Differences. I am different from everything else. Not only am I different from everything else, parts of my body are different from each other. Body is different from the mind. So I see all these. And these are all one perspective which shows that the Jagat, which includes all of these things, is real. We move around in this with this thought. The second perspective, which also something we can arrive at after we've done some Shravanam and some Vichara. You can't, it's very difficult to do without the Shravanam. This cannot be real. It is changing rapidly. It gets destroyed. How can it be real? Real would remain. Real cannot be dependent on time. Real cannot be dependent on space. Real cannot be dependent on anything if it is to be real. If it is dependent on something, it cannot be real. We can do all sort of vichara. Of the two perspectives, the former is easy to accept because it coincides with our own experiences. The latter contradicts whatever we think we experience. And this difference starts with the question of whose experience? Who is this experiencer? And we tend to accept the former simply because it's easier to accept. What do all our scriptures tell us? Hey, this is because of Maya. It makes you take a wrong perspective. This is not Satyam. What we are studying is also trying to bring that out. This cannot be Satyam. So, however contradictory it is to our own so-called experiences, the other may be the Satyam. Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka paraspara vilakshanaha digbramma dishyam mayeti iti vedanta dimdimaha. You're looking at Dṛg and saying it's real because I can see. Sorry, Dṛśya. It cannot be real because it is not stable. Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka. Vivachanam. Dṛg-dṛśya. Seer and the seen. Dvau padarthaustha are two different entities. Now I caught you, Swami G. You said with Advaita, you are now saying it is two different padartha. Padasya artha. The entire Dṛśya Jagat is only pada and is artha. Names and forms, names and meaning. They're only words. Like Hamlet said when asked, what are you reading? Words, words, words. Only word. Every word breaks down into many more words. You analyze them, they break down into many more words. There's no substance in anything. We know a word called tree. It has a meaning. And we immediately get a form in our mind. But where is the tree? Only branches, leaves, bark, trunk, root. Where's the tree? No, Swami, combination of all this makes tree. So if I break off one branch of the tree, can I then call it a tree again? Tree is only a word. It breaks into so many other words. Each of which then breaks down into more words. Words. There is nothing but words. My body. In fact, one of the arguments I went through with myself. The body is not I. The mind is not I. The senses are not I. When I analyze each one of them independently, I can see that cannot be I. But what about the combination? Could it be that this particular combination is what I call I? That is what is called karya karana sanghata. That combination makes one empirical entity called this particular jiva with a name, Devadatta. That Devadatta is constantly changing. He's not a Satyam. He's only a empirical reality. Every empirical reality is Ishvara Shrishtam. It is true to the extent of Vyavaharika Satyam. On that empirical Satyam, we superimpose something more. Our own individual subjective words, judgments, differences, and we form opinions and ideas. When you look at all the ornaments, golden ornaments in a shop, in the gold shop, that is the universe. If you see only the ornaments, I see a ring as distinct from a bangle. Different shape, different size, different weight. I'm only seeing my own subjective shifting. But when I'm able to see in each of them not only the ring and the chain and the necklace and so on, but the gold of these, the content of these. Then from the perspective of this universe, I am seeing Ishvara Srishti. Gold is Ishvara Srishti. But what is the Satyam? Is that the Satyam? No, I see gold. But I also see ring and chain and everything else. From the perspective of a bullion trader, I see only gold. And as far as this universe is concerned, that is the reality. Same thing happens in this Jagat. I see differences. I see individuals. I see different qualities. I am not able to see beyond. I am not able to see Ishvara in all of them. Then I'm stuck purely in samsara. That is samsara. The inability to see Ishvara in everything. This is Maya Shakti. Makes it easier to believe and accept something which you know is not true. When one is able to see Ishvara Srishti in everything, whether it is something frightening or something which you abhor, in everything I see Ishvara. Everything is nothing but Ishvara. Then I'm seeing Ishvara Srishti. I'm seeing Ishvara. When I check the reality of everything by understanding that these are all mithya, they are based on one satyam, then my perspective changes to paramarthika perspective. Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka. What is the dvau padartha? They are not two things. They are not two parallel realities. But they are different. Paraspara vilakshana. Dṛk is not the same thing as Drsya. What I can perceive is one order of reality. Seen from the Paramarthika perspective, it is not real. And yet, something that I cannot dismiss. That is called mithya. And that mithya is dependent on satya. Mithya is satyam. But they are two different prapancha. Satyam and mithya. Why? Mithya is satyam. Satyam is not mithya. Satyam, satyam. All the golden ornaments are nothing but gold is none of them. So when we read these words, paraspara vilakshana, if we can see the difference between a waking world and a dream world, which is easy to see for us. A similar difference exists here. Vilakshana, they are different from each other. One is dependent on the other, but not mutually dependent. One is independent of the other is not dependent on anything because there is nothing. Paraspara vilakshana. Because Dṛk is Brahman, the only Satyam. Dṛk Brahmeti. What about Dṛśya? That is what we've been trying to understand. Maya. Dṛk Brahmeti Dṛśyam Maya. அடிச்சு சொல்றது வேதாந்த டிம்டிமஹ. Dimdima is that town crier who comes, no? It is announcing, if only we can see it. It is important to understand the nature of Maya before we can understand the nature of Brahman. Maya is Trigunatmika. Maya is Prakriti. Prakashena Kriya Yogatvat. Kriya of the entire Jagat, Srishti of the entire Jagat. Therefore, Prakriti. That is all knowledge. That Maya is all knowledge. All this time we've been saying Brahman is all knowledge. Maya is all knowledge. Without being all knowledge, it is not possible to do Srishti of the Jagat. That Srishti, I'm avoiding the use of the word create. Create implies change. But this Srishti, without itself changing, whole Jagat appears. Therefore, the example of Fenadi on the ocean, on the waters of the ocean, so many things appear. They are not created as we understand it. If you understand it the same way, there's no problem. But in the language, creation when something changes and something happens. This is vivarta. It is more like rope creating a snake. Rope is not creating a snake. Some error is creating the snake. Brahman is not creating the Jagat. Some misconception seems to create the Jagat. Some ajnanam. Some avidya. That avidya is called Maya. In the same breath, we call it all knowledge. All knowledge from the Vyavaharika perspective, to be able to create this entire Jagat. But avidya from the point of view of the Satyam. Maya is that. How does this Maya create the Jagat? Two Shaktis, Vikshepa and Avarana Shakti. Power to veil knowledge. That is why it's avidya. What covers knowledge? Avidya only. That is why this jnanam that we are trying to seek is only removal of avidya, step by step. Jnanam has never changed, it's always there. That I am Brahman is always there. Covered by avidya. So it is just ajnana nivritti. That Maya. Because it is trigunaatmika. Everything that it creates is also trigunaatmika. But Brahman has nothing to do with guna. Attributeless. Once you understand this is Maya is mithya, prakriti, ajnanam, which has come from anadikala. But can be ended. Otherwise, in the Jagat, we know that something has a beginning, will have an end. Ajnanam has no beginning, anadi, but can end. Through jnanam. And that jnanam also disappears, leaving behind only the satyam. That is why when a person has gained this knowledge, there is no question of coming back. Nothing more is required. This creation like penadivat, abdau penadivat. And then he said, Shrishtir Nama Brahmarupe, on that Brahman, Brahmarupe, it's only a Shrishtir Nama. There is no Shrishti. Satchidananda Vastuni. Nature is Satchidananda. Therefore, we think we've seen the Jagat. because of the two powers of Maya. Maya is not a real entity. Maya cannot be separate from Brahman. And yet it possesses these two powers. It possesses Triguna, which it passes on to everything that it creates. Traigunya Veda, Vishaya Vedaha, Nistraigunyur Bhavarjuna. Arjuna, everything in the Jagat is Triguna. So they all arise from Maya, Prakriti. So Krishna extols Arjuna to rise above these gunas. Because as long as you're in the guna, you're in the samsara. Istrai gunyor bhavarjuna. That means understand the nature of these gunas belong to samsara, come from Maya. Your nature is not this. Although one strives to reach predominantly sattva guna, because that is where this knowledge becomes possible to understand and assimilate. But one has to cross that also. Where is Maya? Is it on Brahman? No. It is not a separate entity. How can it be on Brahman? In Brahman, of Brahman, around Brahman, nothing works. Because it belongs to another order of reality called Mithya. It cannot be equated to Brahman, although it's non-different from Brahman. What a contradictory statement. Full of such paradoxes. It's a matter of understanding. Once one understands what is Mithya and is able to associate the entire Jagat, then one can easily associate one's own body, mind, sense complex into that. Vidya. There is no new creation. Creation is only apparent. All because of Maya. Avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. Avyaktani nidhanani tasya ka paridevana. It's the same thing. It is avyakta becomes vyakta, becomes avyakta. That is the nature of this srishti. Cyclical, or if you're American, cyclical. Goes round and round and round, all because of Maya. Remember, every time we say Maya, cling, ajnanam. Amazing consistency in what Shastra says. This Maya creates all kinds of differences. One verse in Vivek Chudamani, worth reading on Maya. Avyakta namni paramesha saktihi Anadhya Vidya Triguna-tmika para. Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya Yaya Jagat Sarvamidam Prasuyate. Ye Prasarana. All Avyakta Namni, one called Avyakta, which is the Shakti of Parmeshwara, not a separate entity. In fact, sometimes in our distinct, they equate Shakti to Upadhana Karana. So when you say Ardhanarishwara, Shakti is feminine. It is a combination of the two, which appears to create a Jagat. The Upadhana Karanam and the Nimitta Karanam. Vivarta Nimitta Karanam. That Nimitta Karanam is unchanging. It is Ekameva Advitiyam. So it says Avyakta Namni Paramesha Shakti, Shakti of Parameshwara, Anadhya Vidya Triguna-tmika para. Anadhi Avidya Triguna-tmika. These qualities are endowed in Maya. And in different proportions, it dosed out to other things. So in this Jagat, everything we have is Triguna-tmika. Sometimes more sattva, sometimes more rajas, sometimes more tamas, but Triguna-tmika. Karyanumeya Sudhiyaiva Maya. Sudhi is Buddhiman. One whose D is Sukrita. They understand this whole Jagat as only a Karya, and from that Karya, they infer Maya. You can't go and see Maya. There is no Maya. How do you want to see Maya? What you can't see is the Jagat. And by seeing the Jagat, you infer Maya. Why do you infer Maya? Why can't it be Brahman? Because Brahman doesn't create anything. Brahman happens to be you. There is no creation. See, that is why when Shastra starts to teach us, it takes very gentle steps. First, it explains this Mithya Jagat. All kinds of models are created. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, how they form, how they combine the Sukshma form to form the Sthula form. Oh, okay, this makes sense. Because that's all I know. Can you take it one step further? And it says, this is not real, this is all Maya. Because there's no creation. And once we are able to take that step, then it says even Maya is not real. Only Brahman is real. And that Brahman happens to be you. Tat-tamasi. Very beautiful definition of Maya here in another verse of same Viveka Chodamani. Sannapya bhatmika no. Sat api, asat api, ubhayatmika no. It is neither Sat nor Asat, but both. It is neither Sat nor Asat, but both. Similarly, Bhinnapya Bhinnapya Bhajatmika, no. It is Bhinna, different. Abhinna, not different. It is neither Bhinna nor Abhinna, but both. It is not Bhinna, it is not Abhinna, but both. Ubayoho, Ubayatmika. Sangapyana Sangapya Bhaitmika, no. It is Sangha Sahita, with Sangha and without Sangha. It is neither Sangha nor Asangha. Maya. What is Asangha? Not indifference. It has nothing to do with it. The only Asangha is Aham. Asangoham. Mahat Bhutani Anirvachayani Rupaya. It is neither Satyam nor Asatyam, but both. It is neither different nor not different, but both. It is neither Sangha Sahita nor Sangha Rahita, but both. Confusing enough, no? It is because it is very wondrous, adbhuta, anirvachaniya. That is the definition of Maya. Sad asadbhyam anirvachaniya. That is why in teaching, you first learn that there is Jagat and I can explain the Jagat. You don't start by telling anybody, you are Jagat Karanam. Jagat is real and because of you. You created the Jagat. Much less telling him that you have nothing to do with Jagat. All that is in the Jagat is you, but you have nothing to do with Jagat. If you start with a statement like that, somebody who comes to you to study Vedanta, he will either go away, run away from there, or head straight to Kilpakkam. We start like this. And I introduce the idea of Maya. Because Maya creates Veda. Svajatiya Veda, Vijatiya Veda. Maya creates all these differences. That is the power of Maya. Antar Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka Bahishcha Brahma Sargayoho Avurnod Apara Shaktihi Sa Samsarasya Karanam. We saw Vikshepa Shakti. Projecting what is not as what is. Vikshepa Shakti. Making us believe what is not as what is Vikshepa Shakti. We do it all the time. Try to make ourselves and others believe something to be right when you know it is not. Sometimes we say he's fooling himself and trying to fool others. That is what? Vikshepa. Vikshapati. But why do you have to have Vikshepa? Why do you have to create another perspective of reality. Only because the truth is covered. In the Vyavahara, we sometimes deliberately cover the truth as if we are Maya and exercise our Avarana Shakti and project something different. When a person who is 5'6" tries to wear one of those high heel shoes hidden, so you can't easily see, what's he doing? The truth is he's short. What are you trying to project? I'm not short. All those makeup creams and lotions and things, all that. Trying to project something you're not. That Vikshepa Shakti comes because there is a need for it. Because the truth is not visible. And even if it's visible, we don't want to see it. It is more convenient to accept the alternative perspective. Therefore, he says, Antar Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka Bahishcha Brahma Sargayoho Avarnoti Apara Shaktihi Sa Samsarasya Karanam. All the Veda, whether it is Veda within the group or between groups, the differences, they are non-existent differences. If we can only look one step deeper, there is no Veda. We see Veda between individuals, Veda between individuals and something else. And by doing that, we are projecting ourselves to be small. Because everything else is different from I. If only you knew how small, you'll probably disappear. Because relative to 8 billion people, you have one 8 billionth of humanity. If you take it one step further, of all the jivas that are known to us, or at least inferred by us, we don't know all of them. We don't know how many jivas there in the air, visible, invisible, in the sea, on the earth, inside the earth. Trillions and trillions and trillions of them. So that I becomes 1 trillion of all jivas. It is only on the earth. The earth itself is 1 trillionth of the solar, of the cosmos. Where is I? Only way you can get out of this is when one recognizes I am fullness itself. This Shakti, Avarana Shakti, by covering up the non-differences. How do you create these differences? You shut one, open something else, shut one, open. The entire computer industry is based on that. All the hardware work on the system of 0, 1. Gate closed, gate open. Gate closed, gate open. If this gate is open, you get something else. Some other gate is open, you get something else. You know where it started? You've seen these jacquard fabrics, right? Highly complex designs on fabrics woven into them. That is the basic principle. Jacquard is a machine which can selectively pick some of the lengthwise thread called warp and push the others down. Then you insert the weft inside. So what happens? You have some above the weft, some below the weft. Next time the weft passes, you have a complete different set. So you create another design. This is called the Jacquard. This is the precursor to computers. Same system, up, down, 0, 1. Gate open, gate closed. So you create varieties, complex varieties. And all done by this Avarana Shakti of Maya. It creates difference between what? Dṛg-dṛśya-viveka. Antaha. Inside us. We do not recognize the Dṛg. So in the Sharira, we started the whole thing by saying that Lochanam, Dṛg, and all the Vishaya, Dṛśya. And then went on to say that Lochan was also Dṛśya. We don't recognize the real Dṛg. Therefore, this nature of Dṛg is covered. Avarana. So internally, the difference, apparent difference between Dṛg and Dṛśya is created by Avarana Shakti. The difference between perceiver or seer and the seen. Similarly, Bahihi, Bahishcha, Brahma Sargayoho. We do not recognize the nature of Brahman, and therefore we see a difference between Brahman and Sarga, the created world, the Mithya world. This is what causes the Jagat, the Shakti of Maya. Sa sansarasya karanam. You have to understand this word difference between Brahman and Sarga. It is only that we don't recognize the nature of Brahman. The difference is to us concealed by Maya and make us believe there is only this Sarga, and that is real. Therefore, we get all these wrong notions of the difference between internally between Dṛg and Dṛśya, externally between Brahman and this entire created Jagat. Nama Rupa. Nothing but words, words, words. with no substance. Every object breaks down into further object. Every word breaks down into further words. There is really no creation, no dissolution. Only Brahman exists. Rest is all Vidya. But you don't dismiss Mithya. Mithya is where the whole Jagat is where I think I am. That Mithya doesn't disappear. Because the bullion trader walks into the gold shop and says, there must be at least 1.5 tons of gold here, because this is only gold, does not make the ring disappear. Does not make the chain go away. It's only cognitive understanding. That's why I said, if you see only ornaments, oh, this is a beautiful bangle. It looks like a ring because it's also round, but it's different. It has a different name, different form. Can I call it wrist ring? Maybe you can. But it's not a wrist ring. It's a bangle. It's a different name. Namarupa. Like I said, these days you have all kinds of rings. Not only ear ring and nose ring, eyebrow ring, navel ring. But it's different. Each is different. Each has a different name, different form, different function. The appearance of the many, appearance of the Jagat, is because of the Avarana Shakti of Maya, which conceals the truth. And because of this Avarana Shakti, there is also Vikshepa. That example that Swami G always gives, which I quoted the other day. A young child, 2 years old, considers the mother God, all powerful, all knowledge. Then the child is forcibly separated from its Ishvara and sent to school when the child is 2. Internally, the child is miserable, doesn't want to be alienated from God. None of us want to be alienated from God. That is all we are seeking. Oneness. The child comes back from school. Mother asks, how was school? Child doesn't say, I didn't like it. It's very nice. Because the child knows mother wants to hear that. God wants to hear that. So it covers what it really feels and projects something different. This leaves an indelible mark on subconscious, which has to be processed later sometime. Only some children will say, no, I didn't like school. I don't want to be away from you. But sooner or later, they'll reconcile to it because they know that's what their God wants. It is deadly against sending children to school at 2 and 2.5. It causes long-term damage. This samsara created by Maya, where I am the karta, I am the bhokta. In fact, really only I am the bhokta. I do something only to be the experience of the phala, experiencer of the phala. That kartritvam, bhoktritvam is samsara. All created by the Shakti of Maya. If this is the samsara, created or as though created by Maya, how do I understand the jiva who is moving around in this samsara? The next verse will address that. Let us read that verse and then we will stop for the day. Verse 16. Sakshinah purato bhati.
Sakshinah puratho bhati.
Lingam dehena sanyutam.
Lingam dehena sanyutam.
Chitichhaya samaveshat.
Chitichhaya samaveshat.
Jivasyad vyavaharikah.
Jivasyad vyavaharikah.
Lingam dehena sanyutam. We will see that next. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om
शांति शांति हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।